Hello, everyone, and welcome.
Hi
It's nice to
everyone,
be here
thanks
with
for
you all.
joining. Awesome. So, Japhlet, should we wait like one more minute until everyone joins and then we will kickstart the 30 days of Microsoft Graph?
Yeah, sure. Um, so just before, while we're waiting for others to join, how's your day been, Aisha? Feels so good to be here with you again.
Yeah, exactly. Likewise, Japhlet. And we are not the only ones here, by the way. We also have Diego, Stephen, and Ali in the backstage. They will be helping us in the chat. So, throughout the presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat window. Stefan and Diego will be there to answer them right away, or they will just share it with us and we will answer them live. Okay, so let's get started. Uh, as you all know, we're in week 3 and we're super excited um, to continue working in the 30 Days of Microsoft Graph Challenge. Obviously, we learned a lot on the way, but don't worry if you're just getting started. If you just heard about 30 Days of Microsoft Graph, the entire challenge is still available for you. In today's session, we will build a take a break reminder app with Microsoft Graph and Next.js. That means we will walk you through an end-to-end solution by using Microsoft Graph, and our experts will show us how to do that. Before we jump into it, let's take a look at the agenda. We will first meet the team, myself, Japhlet, and all the others, and then we will share the challenge overview, what we have in the challenge, and the learning materials of week 3 as well, what we will cover in this week. After this session, of course, we will have materials for self-paced learning. And then we will introduce our experts. They will show us how to build a take a break reminder app, and afterwards, we will have some resources for you, and then we will leave you with self-paced learning materials. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Aicha. I'm based in Dubai. I'm a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, and I love building solutions across Azure and Microsoft 365 and Power Platform. If you're interested in connecting, feel free to connect with me on Twitter and LinkedIn. I share what I learn, my blogs, and all of the documentation related to my interests across those platforms. And I'm a student ambassador alumni as well. Like 10 years ago, I was in the program, and we have a lot of people and experts joining us today. They are ex MEPs, ex student ambassadors, and we're so excited for you to meet them all. Japhlet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Aisha. I am Japhlet Nwamu, and I am a cloud advocate at Microsoft. I get to work with the Next Generation Experiences team, and I am based off Nigeria, specifically Abuja. I love talking about Microsoft's Power Platform and Microsoft Azure, which is Microsoft's cloud computing platform. If you love to reach out, talk about a couple of things, definitely you can reach out on Twitter or LinkedIn. Just type in my name and you would find me there. I was also a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. So, I mean, if you haven't heard about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, you should definitely check it out and apply for it. But, like Aisha mentioned, we're not alone on this call. We have some amazing individuals who will be responding to questions in the chat. We have Diego. Hi, Diego. We also have Steven, and we have um, Ikel, who is also joining us. Would you like to do like a brief introduction, Diego?
Um, we're waiting our producer to take Diego and Stefan and Eichel. Can we take them on screen?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So while we're
I think
waiting
you're
for
having some
that,
technical issues.
yeah. So while we're waiting for that, would also love to learn where you all are joining us from. So please be sure to let us know while we wait for you to get the speakers on the screen. Looking through the chat, I can see some amazing people joining us from India. Thanks, Arjun, for joining from India. I can see Diego, who is our moderator, joining from Spain. Um, and I can see CT joining in from South Africa. I guess so. Hi, Sumilizi. Thank you for joining in from South Africa. Sumilizi is also on this show with us, and he has been moderating sessions alongside all of us.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you're going to take them on screen, but Diego, Ikel, and Stefan, feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat and share where you're joining from today. And they will be our experts of the day, and they will help us in the chat, and they will answer your questions about the technical side and also about the challenge. Japhlet, let's get started about 30 days of Microsoft Graph Challenge. We just want to have a quick introduction about the challenge. If you're new and if you're already in the challenge, we also have some to-dos of the week for you to share. So I'm just going to go to the 30 days of Microsoft Graph Challenge. It's not going to take long, and then we will give the stage over to our experts to build a Take a Break reminder app and share what they know with us about Microsoft Graph. So as you can see, we already passed week 1 and week 2, where we learn about what Graph is. The challenge began with some learning materials, and then in the second week, we also use Microsoft Graph in the end-to-end scenarios by completing the learn paths. This week in the challenge, week 3, we are actually entering another stage to connect the dots. We will cover end-to-end scenarios throughout the week. This session will be the very first one. We will show you how to build end-to-end solutions with Graph. And then tomorrow, you will do exactly the same scenario by just completing the workshop we share with you. And the next day, you will have another workshop. At the end of this week, until the end of this week, we will ask you to share a project proposal with us so that we will know next week you will be working on that project. Just to give a brief idea, I'm just going to ask Japhlet to walk us through, if people are new, what they have to do.
Yeah, so just in case you're joining us for the first time, you'll have to head over to register for the Cloud Skills Challenge, which has been running right from November 1st, and we're 14 days in already. And amazingly, tons of people have completed the Cloud Skills Challenge. So, yeah, be sure to enjoy that learning resource too. But you also get to register. So, I'll just share my screen and show you what it looks like. Now, when you get to register for the Cloud Skills Challenge, it's an amazing opportunity for you to get part and join in the learning. So I'll head over to my screen and click on aka.ms slash 30 days of MS Graph slash register. So here it is. And when I do, it will take me directly to the Cloud Skills Challenge where I can register. I have registered already, so that's why I have continued learning here. But if you're joining for the first time, you can click on register now to be part of the Cloud Skills Challenge. And then the next thing we'd like to talk about is if probably you're joining us at the end of this. So probably you're watching it once I've ended the entire 30 days of program, or probably you're deciding to utilize these resources. We are going to have all of these videos on demand. So at any point in time, if you need to come back to this, you can just head over to aka.ms slash 30 days of Microsoft Graph. And when you head over here, the resources are available for you to use anytime, any day, and anywhere you decide to use them. They are always available for you. So don't forget to come over here and check out these amazing resources that we have put together for you all. You have also the links to each of the sessions which you can watch on demand. So if you missed any of the sessions while this program is running, you can always go back and watch these sessions. And most importantly, you can see what the entire walkthrough was like. So, what sessions did we hold? What was the goal of those sessions? What did we do during those sessions for the remaining part of the week? So, you could probably mark them in your calendar and ensure that you don't miss them. And then we also wanted to show you the resources that we have created. So we want you all to build projects, and that is very, very important. The goal of this week is for you to connect the dots. So all of the things you have been learning, how do you get to utilize them to build real solutions? And take a break reminder application, which we are going to be building today, would showcase how we can do that. But we want you to start thinking of solutions that you can build. And we have created aka.ms slash 30 days of Microsoft Graph. So 30 days of MS Graph slash scenarios.
And this
And
link is
when
also available in the landing page, by the way. You can find in the
yes,
week learning materials of the week.
yes, yeah, true. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
pointing that. So you could
November
also come over
17th,
here.
you can find.
Yep. So you could also click here just in case you forget that link. And then it takes you over here where you can find scenarios that gives you an idea of what projects you could work on. But just in case you would like to work on a new project idea, you can head over here and tell us what exactly you would love to work on and then comment. So we know what exactly you're working on. So right from the session today, we would love you all to start thinking of project ideas, of things that you can work on throughout the entire period of these 30 days. For the learning resources for this week, we have connect the dot session, and in the connect the dot session starting off today, we'll be building our application, but then we want you to utilize the Microsoft Learn module that helps you practicalize what will be done today. So throughout tomorrow, take some time to take part in the break reminder app tutorial, which is on the connected dots page. And then you also get the opportunity to work on a sample application where you get to build a seamless automation that would help build productivity. We also want you to share thoughts and ideas on what you would love to work on. So if you head over here to the top of the screen, you'll find the GitHub discussions. And when you click on that link, it takes you directly to this page where you can find lots of people introducing themselves, talking about the reason why they have decided to participate in the 30 Days of Microsoft Graph Challenge and what they are learning. At any point in time, when you join this 30 days off program or when you're utilizing these resources, you can always come here, ask your questions, tell us whatever issues or bugs you are facing, and we would be sure to respond to all of them. So again, don't forget to come over to the 30 days of Microsoft Graph learning resource page where you can have access to all of these resources.
Awesome. Thanks, Japhlet, for walking us through. The landing page is our main page for sure. Let me share the slides and then walk you through really quickly what we covered so far. Yeah, if we can go back to my screen, that would be great. Okay, so what Japhlet covers so far, if you register to the challenge, this is the first step. Then just go to ak.ms slash 30 days of MS Graph, and Japhlet already show you how it looks like. This week specifically, we want you to submit a project proposal after completing the workshops we provide you so that we will know who is working on what. And Japhlet already showed you, we have some scenario options for you. If you think that you can't find any scenarios, but you still want to work on the challenge, make sure to take a look at take a look at all the sample scenarios, you can pick one and just comment below and say that this is the scenario I'm working on, just to make sure that some people are not working on the same scenario again. And whenever you have questions, whenever you get stuck when you are working on your project, feel free to ask in the GitHub discussions. It's also available in the landing page. Make sure to drop all of your questions. We are not the only ones checking your questions there. The entire Microsoft Graph product group and advocates and MVPs, student ambassadors are there to answer your questions. So make sure to drop your questions there so we can help you throughout your journey in the 30 days of Microsoft Graph. This is the learning materials of the week. Japhlet, I think you already showed us. But after completing the session, we will just share with you 2 workshops for next 2 days. You will try to practice with those 2 scenarios. And in the 3rd day, on Thursday, then you will create a project proposal. You will basically comment below your project proposal, and then we will know that you're already working on a project. And at the end of this week, on Friday, we will have a Q&A session where we will discuss your scenario ideas. If you have any questions about Microsoft Graph, we will have an office hour with MVPs and advocates so we can answer your questions. All right, so let's jump into the real session. After we just do all the challenge information, I just want to introduce you Glosia and Waldek. They will be covering how to build a take a break reminder app by using Graph and Next.js. They are amazing experts, and we definitely want to introduce them first, and then we will jump into the live demo. Okay, so let's take Glacia and Waldek on screen. Awesome. Hi, Glacia. Hi, Waldek.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hi, welcome. So we're so excited that you're here. Let's do an introduction. We definitely want to know your background and understand your experiences so far as a developer, and then we can jump into the topic. Glacia, do you want to go first?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Glaucia Lemos. I'm based in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. I'm former MVP in web dev technologies, especially in TypeScript, JavaScript. Right now, I'm a full-time employee here at Microsoft as a developer advocate, especially in the JavaScript, TypeScript advocacy team. I'm Prisma ambassador. If you already heard about Prisma, Prisma is our ORM to make some to work with the relational databases, NoSQL or SQL databases. Sometimes in my spare time, I do some OS contributions, especially trying to translate in some documentations from React.js .org website to Portuguese. And if you want to see about me a little bit more, you can follow me on Twitter and at Glaus_Lemos86.
Awesome. Thanks, Glacia. And we also have Waldek from
Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Great to be here and great to meet all of you, even though I cannot see all of you, but I can see you in a chat. And I hope that I will be able to see all of your cool work that you will do over the coming weeks. I'm also a dev advocate at Microsoft. I focus on Microsoft 365, meaning Microsoft Teams, Graph, SharePoint, Viva, Outlook, whatever there is that is a part of Microsoft 365. I work on it, and I worked on it already for a few years. I've been an MVP before I joined Microsoft for 12 years, so a bit of time. And for all these years, I primarily worked with Microsoft 365 before then Office 365 and everything else that it was first. I'm active in the community. You can find me on GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn, social platform of your choice. Again, excited to be here and to show you the cool app that we've built for you and that you will probably be able to experiment with yourself. So with that, without further ado, what is it that we will show you in the coming minutes? Imagine, right, being a dev, what is the one thing that we often do? We get in the zone. That is really the best experience that you get, right? When you code and you forget about the world around you. And that's so cool. One trick, though, is especially as we work at home or remotely, uh, once in a while, we tend to totally lose track of time and forget to take a break, whether it's to walk, to hydrate, eat, catch some sun if you can, right? So we thought, like, hey, how cool would it be if we could employ Microsoft Graph being the API that gives you access to everything that you have stored on Microsoft 365 to build kind of personal assistant, to basically have somebody, a buddy, that once in a while will tap you on your back and like, hey, you know what? You've worked so hard. It's time to take a break. So with that, I pass it on to Glaucia to show us how you would build that kind of app with Next.js.
Awesome. Waldek, what do you think? Should I start into the code thing, or just show the application running on the browser?
How about we show just really quickly the app, the way it works, and then
Okay.
we jump right into code, because being
Okay.
devs, again, we love
Okay.
seeing code.
Okay, awesome. Are we starting to share my screen here? I don't know if this black window is a good window. If you want to, I can change to the white version. I don't know.
I can see it
If
just
you
fine. Let me quickly see if there's anybody in the comments saying otherwise. 3, 2, 1. No comments. We're good to go.
Awesome. So this is Next.js application using Microsoft Graph. If you're trying to research on the web right now how to use Microsoft Graph with Next.js, probably you will see just only these workshops that we created. So I don't know if someone has some experience with Next.js. The good thing with Next.js is based on React JS, is a front end framework, and you can work with front end and you can work with the client side and server side in the same framework. So that's why Next.js has growing too much in the JavaScript developers lately. So inside in this project, we have this pages folder here where everything happens inside in this folder. So inside in this folder, we have another folder called API, and then an auth folder, and then this next auth.ts file. So inside in this ts file, we are declaring a kind of a provider, because to use Microsoft Graph, we have to use Azure AD provider. And this next auth, it is a package created from the open source community who like to use Next.js to work with logging sessions. So here we are providing some scopes to this application here. Of course, if you want to see step by step around to this application, I created two different workshops. One to create a login session using Next.auth with Next.js with Microsoft Graph, and another one, which is this one, how to use the client Microsoft Graph client SDK with Next.js. And then after to providing to creating a providing to the next auth package, we can right now creating in the API side of a file called getPresence.ts. Here it is the same as we can see in any I don't know, in any documentation, Microsoft Graph JavaScript SDK, especially using React. But here I'm using TypeScript with React. So here we are importing the client, the Microsoft Graph client, and then the get token. This get token is coming from the next auth package, from the next auth package, dependency library, whatever you want to call this package. So here As we can see in the line 28, we can see we are calling the API get presence from the Microsoft Graph, which is /me/presence, and then calling getting all the token information from here from this request in the line 18, and then considering the token, comparing in as a string the token, if it is the same token that that you created in the before steps, creating the AAD portal. So okay, I can concede this token to this user. So let's go ahead to the user presence. So we are going to getting the informations from this user, if this user are available, offline, busy, away. So take let's interpret this way. We are getting all of this information inside of this variable here in the line 28, and then we are going to bring inside in the on the client side in the page called reminder .tsx file. So let's go over there. So you can see that we don't need to import that file, because again, Next.js work simultaneously with client side and the server side. This is the magic thing in the behind the scenes around to the Next.js. This is insane. So here in the line 18, you can see we are calling the fetch around to that file that we called before in the getter presence, where we collect all the informations about the token, if this user are away or busy or offline, available. And then from the lines 23 to 48, we are working with the different methods. For example, this method here, we are working with to see if this user are present or not, is available or not. If so, for 60 minutes, you call outlet called take a break. Inside in this page, we created another method here called start timer. This is just a little button just to see if this user are offline or not. As demo proposals, I just including 2 seconds here, 2000 milliseconds. But to use 60 minutes, you have to change to 360,000 milliseconds here. And then all the logic on the behind the scenes to see if it is away or not, it is here in the line 17 to 21. This is a method, is a sync await method, which we are getting again all the information from the getPresence.ts file, of the the token of the information from this user, and then we'll respond with this data.json information here. And the return, as you can see, we have a not logic here. If is a kind of is the same as saying this method, look, I have your access token. Okay, now I have to go to this link here, which is the API related with Microsoft Graph SDK. Now I have to see if this user are online, offline, available, busy, away. If not, okay, I have to include all of these things is not offline, away, or busy, or whatever you was, whatever is. So you respond inside in this, let me see here in this method here. I don't know if I can explain good away how it works, but I think it's a good time to run in this application to show how it works. So
Totally.
the first thing,
Let's see it in action.
yeah, the first thing that you need to do is create a M365 account and download Microsoft Teams, your cell phone or whatever you want to use. I don't know if you can see in my account right now, I'm offline. Okay. Now I'm going to run in this application. Let me check here. Okay. To run this application, you can use the command npm run dev. If you want to understand step by step what I'm doing in this application, we created a workshop, a detail a workshop. Okay, so now let's open the browser in the localhost 3000. So let me open my browser here. Let me get localhost 3000 and bring it to this screen here. Localhost 3000. Okay. Look, here is saying that I'm not signed. If you try something that I explained in another workshop, the workshop number one, how to create this application, this login session application. If you try to access the admin or even the reminder page, you cannot. Besides, if you're trying to signing up of there. So let me come back to the home and sign up here with. This is something related with Next Auth package. Use Next.js. So let's include my credentials here. Sometimes I always forget my password. Let me get here. No. Let me use this credential from the I'm going to see my password. I always forget my password. Let me copy paste here. Just a second. Okay. I have to approve using my auth information here, my phone. Opa. Okay. Awesome. Brought to me my email. If you try to go into the admin, you can see this page. And this is the main page in this demonstration. So I could bring my name, a little a, a music from Madonna, time goes by so slowly. So right now, again, as I will show you again, I'm offline. Okay. If click in this button, you will say, look, you are offline. Okay. But imagining, okay, I have to work here at a Microsoft. I have to work to create a workshop, a awesome workshop for Microsoft Graph. I'm available right now. Available in Portuguese means disponível. You can see the green thing here. So imagining that I'm typing here for 60 minutes, blah blah blah. Okay, I will start into my timer. Start my timer here. So the timer is running right now. So after 2 minutes, I think we'll bring a little alert for me to say, look, take a break.
That was
So
fast.
Yeah, yeah. I think I included 5 seconds or 10 seconds. I have to check it again. So again, if you want to test it out, this application and going forward with this workshop, I will share my screen here with again. This is an open source application. If you want to contribute to this workshop, please open an issue PRs. Even if you want to include any UI framework, for example, Chakra or even Material UI, you'll be very welcome. I was discussing Valdek with Aicha last week. Probably if someone could bring any good feature in this, for example, before to bring the information, take a break and take a alert song. Beep 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 beep. Probably if someone can bring this feature and I can test it out in my local machine and approved, probably I can send it out some swags. I don't know. We can discuss later about it. And if you want to see these workshops, you can follow up in English and Portuguese. And if you want to contribute in other languages, I created documentation here called Contributing, and I can including you as a contributor to this workshop as well. So this is the demonstration that I have to show to all of you here, and I hope you enjoyed. Do you have any questions, Waldek, or somebody from
Totally.
the
Well, so
YouTube channel?
maybe first things first, right? Maybe to recap what we have seen, because you
Okay.
showed us a lot. I mean, like, it's easy to glance over all of it, but there are so many moving parts in there that, like, for a big part, there are quite a few important things that are taken care for us, so that you don't need to worry about like doing the request responses and all by yourself, right? So the first thing, what we've seen is that you've built a Next.js app using TypeScript, right?
Yes.
So it's an app that allows us to use TypeScript server side and client side. So
Client
one,
side. Yes.
two, we use the Microsoft Graph, which isn't anonymous. It's an API that belongs to Microsoft 365, and because it isn't anonymous, we need to authenticate first, and for that you use the Next.js auth library, right?
Library. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that part takes care of all the reaching out to Azure AD, getting for us the token, validating, like all of the hard work. It's basically a few lines of code we need to add, and boom, we have now a
Yeah.
token to call the Microsoft Graph, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
It's the same
So that
as
is, yep.
Thanos is
Oh yeah, exactly. Right. So too, right? So we have a Next.js app, client side and server side TypeScript, and we have AAD auth, right? So we can authenticate. You can sign in with your work account, your Microsoft 365 account, work or school, to our app. Three, you call the Microsoft Graph to check whether the person who is currently in the app is online or not, and we keep track of that. And then if they have been online for way too long and they are due for a break, we let them know, like, hey, you need to take a break, right? So three, we call the Microsoft Graph and we keep track of whether they're online or not. And three,
Yes.
you have a cool UI and a workshop. So a handful of things you showed us in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is. So
That's pretty
a
cool.
lot of information, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I have a question.
Yes.
What if let's say as a next step, if I want to, let's say, whenever there's taking a break, instead of sending a notification, I want to send a email. Is it possible
We
to do
accept
that in
PRs.
the code? Is it possible to do that? Probably with another graph call.
Yeah, we just need to change the scope inside in the. I think we already included email as a scope. So yes, we just need to include some probably another create another. Let me check another file. Probably get send email.ts file and include the the logic in this API folder, and then create another page called email and send, or another button called email, and calling this information some pages inside in the client side in the Next.js. The good thing here to use Next.js that you can use the client side and the server side in the same framework. You don't need to create, for example, the Express.js or Node.js application or TypeScript application and then calling up the front end side, for example, Angular or Vue.js or React.js. You can use the two things inside in the same application. This is insane because you just need to create a variable and call the folder, call API and the logic. That's it, and you can start to work with this API and inside in the client side. This is insane. That's why Next.js can in the last few months brought a lot of developers users about it. And the good thing here is I'm using the latest version from Next.js. This latest version was launched 2 weeks ago. So if you see here, I'm using the version 13. So anyway, this is insane Next.js. So that's why many persons and developers using Next.js as main framework to create e-commerces, for example, enterprising things.
Awesome. Well, I have one more question. Can we build exactly the same thing by using any
Okay.
other framework? Like, for example, calling Graph API
Yeah.
by using another framework. Would that also work, or it's just only Next.js?
Yeah. No, sure. We can use Microsoft Graph SDK client with different frameworks, for example, Angular, even with HTML, whatever
Yeah.
you want to. So that's why we have a bunch of documentations that you can search on the browser right now on Google or Bing and search. Look, I want to create and I don't know, any Microsoft JavaScript SDK application use Angular or even Vue.js or even Svelte, whatever you want to, is based on JavaScript. Okay, you can use it, Microsoft Graph JavaScript SDK.
And also, you can use C Sharp and Java and
Yeah,
Go and
yeah,
PowerShell because we
yeah,
have
in different,
SDKs
yeah,
for Graph for them too.
yeah, yeah. It is true
So,
in different languages. Yes.
yeah, so that's great. We don't only have one single SDK. If you are already a .NET developer, for example, we already have an
Yeah.
SDK for you separately. And these samples you're showing right now are JavaScript based, obviously. But if you want to go with another language, we have options for you. And I have one more question to Waldek. Waldek, when we want to call different graph APIs, let's say I made a call for presence API first. What it takes to make the another graph API call? Do I need to repeat the entire thing from scratch, or is it easy to repeat the same process for, let's say, calendar API or Teams chat, for example?
Hmm. Yeah, so all APIs on Graph are not available anonymously, which means you need to authenticate first, right? So first of all, you need to sign into your app with your Microsoft 365 account, being your work account or school account, right? So that is first one. You always need to authenticate. So one. Two, each API is secured with something we call scope. Basically, it says in order for you to be able to read the presence, you need to have the presence.read scope. So you need to have access. You need to have that particular type of access to be able to call the API. And if you look across all of the APIs that are on Microsoft Graph, and there's a lot of them that span all the way from sending emails, reading emails, to getting presence, to getting file sites, getting information about devices, users, whatever you have on Microsoft 365, you can access through the Microsoft Graph. It's a lot, right? And to be able to do these different things, you as developer need to express what kind of access does your app need, right? So if, for example, and it's exactly the same way, when you build, for example, an app for your phone, you want to have access to camera and GPS, right? So these are the things. If you build a mobile app, you would prompt the user, hey, like if you use this app needs access to these things. It's the same way here, right? So you would say, if, for example, in our app, we said at some point that we want to have the ability to send user an email. Well, sending an email requires a different scope than getting a presence. So in our app, the first time we launch the app, we would show a prompt, hey, this app needs access to presence, and it also has to have the ability to send email. And don't worry, this app will not just keep sending emails all the time, right? Because it's going to do it as you when you use the app, right? So it's not like you will do some nefarious things, and the app will like read all of your email and do stuff. No, no, no. The app is going to work on is going to send emails on behalf of you because you signed into the app. And there are other types of apps you could build, but to keep things easy, yes, it's very easy because the only thing you need to add, if you want to add, if in your app, right, you want to use more APIs, you only need to know which different scopes they need and list them. Like you've already seen, we had a presence read scope. To the same list, you would add these additional scopes, and you would instantly get a token to all of them when the user first time will launch the app, approve that, yes, I'm perfectly fine with that app having the access or having the ability to send email on behalf of me, right? And right then we will get a token that will give our app the ability to call these APIs on Graph. So it's just a few small adjustments. And other than that, adding the actual code that does the stuff.
So, something could be a good improvement in this application, can serve as something very as a base code. You can make some improvement. For example, in the moment that a certain user got 60 minutes, you can integrate it with Alexa to say, look, take a break, or make some connections with Alexa to give you an
Very cool.
alert. So I'm just giving some good ideas to make some improvements. Again, if you want to contribute to this project, please open PRs will be very welcome.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also there are folks like you have these really cool lights in your room. If they are connected to internet, you could flash lights like, hey, time to take a
take a
break,
break.
right? So exactly, right? So if you have a cool home automation stuff that is reachable through internet, you could include it too, right? Like you could also attach this app to stuff you have around you. It can be a speaker, it can be lights, it can be a chair if it buzzes, or will just eject you on the street and make you run. Like whatever you can think of. Like because at the end of the day, it's just a web app, and if there is API for something, you can call it.
Exactly. And this is what we're going to do exactly this week, by the way. We will think about some scenarios. We already have a long list of scenarios for you to think about and work on. This week, we will work on some scenario ideas, some project ideas. And at the end of the week, we will submit some project ideas as a proposal, and we will all agree that okay, you will go with this, and we will support you in the Q&A session on Friday if you have some concerns and not sure. If you're interested in supporting Glossia's project as a project proposal, go ahead and do that with the Alexa integration or the Lights integration, however you like. But there are a lot of fun things you can do to improve your workplace by using Microsoft Graph. Really fun stuff like Glossia build. And Glossia, you were a JavaScript developer for long years, but this is the first time you're using Graph, right? How easy it is to learn it. Can you also share your experience?
Yeah, there's a lot of documentation that you can use, how to use Microsoft Graph with different, frameworks. I just take a little more time because I'm not used to use Next.js. It was my first time using Next.js in everything because I'm pretty much a backend developer, not too much a front end developer. So I had to introduce some logicals in behind the scenes, and how to use Next.js is a different approach, how to work with the different frameworks. And usually I work a lot with Vue.js, looks like more with JavaScript. So it was very simple. Just grab the API, included the logic in the behind the scenes, and integrated with the framework, and that's it. There's a lot of informations on the web, especially in the documentation, and there's a lot of Microsoft learn paths in the Microsoft Learn that helped a lot me to work with it. So laking of information about Microsoft, how to use Microsoft Client SDK with JavaScript. There's a lot of information. This is something that you don't you all of you here, you not find any problem or any issues to find out on the web.
This is pretty cool. And thank you so much for the amazing demo. Not just only demo, Glossy and Waldek built the entire workshop for you. This is what you're going to do tomorrow. It's already in our curriculum for this week. You will go through the workshop and try to build exactly the same Take a Break reminder app by yourself by following the workshop. And this week, we will work on our own projects. We will think about the projects and then create proposal with such cool projects. One of them is built by Glossia, and you will build something else by using JavaScript and using any framework you like. And also, while practicing with this workshop, you will also get a chance to learn Next.js. If you haven't tried Next.js before, I think this will be also an opportunity for you to take a look what Next.js offers. So I think it's a win-win both ways. You also learn Graph and Next.js. It will be pretty cool. If you're new to the challenge, just go to the landing page. You will find all the information there about registration, onboarding, and all the learning materials of each week. And don't worry, it's not too late. You can work on the learn paths, and then you can jump into the learning materials of week 3. You will see there are already a lot of materials from Microsoft Learn and custom workshops we built. And so you will get trained about Microsoft Graph. Just before I jump into what's coming next, I want to thank Glossy and Waldek. Such an amazing solution and super inspiring. Hopefully, our developers, the developers who are participating in the challenge, will get inspired and build something similar as a project proposal this week and building next week. We are super excited to see what's coming up from the developers joining the challenge. All right, so what's coming up in the Reactor session? This Friday, we will have a Q&A session, Ask the Experts. We will have cloud advocates and the MVPs joining the session specifically to answer your questions. If you think about some project scenarios, and also there are top scenarios we shared with you, more than 20, 30-ish scenarios we shared. If you have any concerns, or if you want to discuss what you can build, or maybe in any part of the learning in your curriculum, you have questions to get answers, join this Q&A session. We will all be there to answer your questions live, and then we will have a casual chat to help you about your project proposal this week. And next week, we will have some scenarios that we will go through with Dan Wahlin. He will join us to deep dive more about how to combine Microsoft Graph with Microsoft Cloud Solutions. And next week will be the week that we will work on our own projects. After doing the proposal submission, we will start working on our own project. And finally, we are reaching end of November. We will be closing out the challenge. And don't forget, we have a lot of cool prizes for the project winners and the Cloud Skills Challenge winners. Don't forget to register, and don't forget to submit your project proposal and complete your project. We have very cool prizes for all of you. We're so excited to share. I think this is all from us. I'm not sure if we have any questions in the chat. I was just checking. I think there's no question in the chat. Okay.
No questions. No questions. I think everybody cannot wait to get really their hands on it and get going.
Awesome. So we already have self-paced learning materials of the week. Let's start week 3 and let's start learning about end-to-end scenarios with the workshops provided. Don't forget to submit your project proposal this week. We are all here to help you in the GitHub discussions. If you have any questions, we will be all there to answer your questions all the time. So I think this is all from us this week, folks. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks, Waldek and Glaucia, for being a part of the session, and Japhlet for partnering me to do the challenge introduction as well. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you on Friday. Bye.